Hey guys, welcome to another session of Epic 7. This is my initial thoughts video for Angel of Light Angelica. For short, I'll probably refer to her as ML Angelica or ML Angie, and I'm not going to apply that to what's commonly known now as Singelica because it actually flows a bit better. So Angel of Light Angelica just seems really long, but that's just for the video context. In case I say ML Angelica, I'll say Sinji or Singelica for the dark version. So interestingly enough, I was talking about this a couple months, maybe a month ago on stream. I was like, hey, where's this character? She was previewed like a year ago. We already got like Closer Charles, ML Cowrick, all those heroes that were previewed only a couple months ago, but where was this character? I was expecting her to be a 5-star. Not disappointed that she's a 4-star. I think it just makes it a bit more accessible in terms of like the imprints at least. Well, actually no, let me take that back. The imprints are the same, but it's not as hard to get her on Moonlight Summon, but in a Mystic 4-star, yeah, it's pretty difficult, especially Desire Meter is a thing. Regardless, so she stopped being a Soul Weaver. She's now a mage, and I have to say her English. Oh, one of my Patreon supporters was saying that her voiceover reminded me of my Epic 7 Jagan X voice pack. Because I definitely heard it too. I laughed at that comment because when I heard her intro video, they use this English thing. It's like the door will remain closed. To you, at least to you it will, or whatever. There's like this kind of like very artificial forcing of the change in tone, and I know what they're going for, right? They're trying to go for like almost like a split personality. I think maybe. But anyways, I heard it and I was like, hey, I think I can pull that off. But that's what my Patreon supporter said. Anyways, long story short, yeah, let's move on. So, you know, I like her design. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, they're really going all out here. Fully white clothes with blue motif, which is kind of like, you know, I guess like a cleaner and more light tone. Blue eyes as well. The Singelica's got red eyes, got the dark like purple hair. It's got the dark and black, like purple and black clothing. She's got the blonde hair, and then we got the regular Angelica, which is again not used, not that much. She's got like the pink hair, I think. So I like this, you know, the difference between the three. Of course, I think that the character now has a lot more depth as well, with this character being introduced. She is no longer a Soul Weaver. So I think the blue one used to say like, I want to retire already or something like that. She's definitely retired. She's now a mage. She's a Taurus mage, 4-star, has the same stats as Broman, and you know, arguably speaking, very comparable to Broman. She's just a better Broman, I suppose, like a more less risky to use Broman. So I definitely think that she's gonna be very oppressive. She'll probably be everywhere. She's a counter cleave, not just speed cleave. She's counter to any type of like general Purgus, last word of Crow, like any kind of bruiser cleave even. Any AOE, she'll just be very, very nice for. So yeah, I'm not exactly thinking that I think she's very strong. I think she's very strong. I don't know if she's necessarily the best thing for the game right now. It just feels like a lot of players may have invested into a lot of AoE heroes, and then all of a sudden this comes down the line. If you guys watch my series and you are familiar with my initial thoughts, my takes on those heroes, you would remember I was really hyped about ML Kawazu, and which, by the way, I did get him now with the ML Leo kind of recall thing. I felt that ML Kawazu was really strong, but he wasn't as oppressive, you know? Like you can definitely counter draft him. You can counterplay him, right? Like you force single target and he's kind of just sitting duck. He really wants that vigor buff. He wants an AoE into him. But for her, it's just like you're punished no matter what. Like whether you do an AoE or not, you're kind of punished unless you kill her first. But let's go through the stats first. Anyways, if you're familiar with Broman, very good stats. I mean, Taurus mages, especially the 5-star equivalent, are very, very strong. We got the Dizzies, we got the Sage Ball and Cezanne. I'm not talking about strong in terms of the meta, but just really strong, bulky stats. They got the HP they need, they got the speed they need, they got the defense they need, they got the effectiveness they need, and most of them, more often than not, have an imprint concentration of self-effectiveness. Of course, the 5 stars being at 27%. this being at 23.8, being a 4-star, and the effect resistance, if you need it, is somehow you're building it. I've seen effect resist disease in the past metas. I've seen effect resist Sage Baal and Cezanne as well, currently in the meta. And so you have the 18 there to swing either way, or even if you wanted to have a split, you know, some effectiveness, some effect resist. It's not totally unusable. But in her kit, I don't think it's necessary. Not as much. As 2, Guardian of Light. So immune to stun. So right off the bat, something that's already really strong in her kit. Immune to stun. So the only really one way to disable her, especially her passive specifically. Her passive, the only one way to disable her is to put her to sleep. But if you put her to sleep and you AoE, she's gonna wake up anyway. So stun was really the only thing that could disable her without her proccing Guardian Angel, but she's immune to it. So that makes it very strong. So when an ally accepts a caster attack, increase the combat radius of the caster at 8%. So that is unchanged in terms of like, you don't need to skill enhance it, you just get it straight after each ally is attacked, for each ally that is attacked. So you can imagine if you're doing like RTA, you're doing a regular arena, basically you get a 24% boost for her if people do an AoE, right? If you trigger something, let's say an RB duo, RB Champion Zerato Spec Tenny after the cooldown, you're hitting 2, so you're always getting 16% CR boost. If you are doing a single target, you're still getting an 8% CR boost. So no matter what, she's gonna benefit from someone attacking her. So she's kind of like the reverse General Purgus, which General Purgus is already really annoying to deal with. Imagine going with a very bulky mage that is able to hold very strong artifacts, because again, she's a mage, and basically, you know, have her with General Purgus on your team, and it's gonna be kind of annoying to deal with. Like, okay, who do I hit unless you can one-shot her? And again, like I said, the base stats are very strong, so you can build her bulky, but you can build her fast. So that's where like she has like a lot to play with already. And we're not even halfway through the S2. When suffering an attack targets all allies, so only AoE will trigger this one, has a 75% chance to activate Guardian Angel, but if you +5, 100% chance. So Guardian Angel can only be activated once every 3 turns, thank goodness by the way. Dispels 1 debuff from all allies before granting skill nullifier once. So I don't know if I have the screenshot. I do have a screenshot here. They did not show Politis here. I don't believe this will trigger Politis. The S2 animation did not cast it didn't cast an animation. Like it cast an animation which like she did her like usual S2 heal animation, like from the blue Angelica counterpart, but it wasn't an animation that had her own cutscene. So I think that's the distinguishing factor in terms of like if a passive goes off and it has an animation, even if it's a non-attack skill, if it has an animation, it will trigger Politis, Selene, and the likes. If it doesn't have those kind of, you know, cutscene animations where like the background changes, then it doesn't. So they didn't showcase it here. I don't believe it does apply here, but her S3 definitely does apply Politis or Selene. So the S3 is Judgment of Angels. It does not hit. It is previewed in the in their video. I think, do I have a screenshot? No, I don't. It does not preview it. She does no damage, so it doesn't hit. So it's like F Cleary. So even if they have evasion, you'll still be able to dispel 2 buffs from all enemies with a Holy Light before 75% chance to make them unbuffable for 2 turns and silencing for 1 turn. So sorry, 70%. But this is, I mean, this is like next level like brokenness in terms of like. So again, you can't miss evasion because it's not a hit. So dispels 2 buffs from all enemies with Holy Light before 100% chance if you skill enhance to +5, 100% chance to make them unbuffable for 2 turns, and then silencing for 1 turn. So you can imagine any hero that requires, especially like Remnant Violet. Like Remnant Violet is like pretty much dead at this point. I mean, the only good thing is that there's still a resistance check, so your Remnant Violet's gotta definitely have an immunity, so you want to have that immunity check yet, like for her versus her at least. But I mean, unbuffable for 2 turns, silencing for 1 turn, that's like oppressive to the max. Yes, it is on a 5-turn cooldown with a +3 E -1, so it's a 4-turn cooldown, very standard S3. one of my guildmates was saying that Atika Scepter is her best in slot. And I have to say that, you know, after looking at it, she has combat readiness boost from the S2 passive. She has pretty high base speed, so you could make her speedy, bulky, high effectiveness. And then the Etika Scepter or Atika Scepter, however you pronounce it, will have a really good chance of proccing. Now, she is a mage, so by default, she can already be a book holder to set up for your other team. So we're talking about RTA draft, right? Like, a book is invaluable. Like, having souls on the first turn is invaluable. You can set up for so much other stuff. Decreasing cooldown, extra damage, ignore effect resist, like so much that can happen if you have enough a book. But if you're going for, like, let's say pure spammage, I guess for a defensive team, maybe Atika Scepter would be her best in slot. Do keep in mind that Sierra Ren and Abyssal Crown will not proc because this is not hitting. So you definitely need to hit in order for, like, you know, Sierra Ren, Abyssal Crown, those kind of artifacts that do debuffs. To apply, it has to actually hit. So it has to do damage. So it won't in this case. So very, very, very strong. And then to seal the deal, S1 has a 75% chance if you +4, 75% chance to silence for 1 turn. It's not much, but I mean, silencing for 1 turn is very, very deadly, as you can see in Broman's skill, especially from well, no, not Broman specifically, but silencing for 1 turn just makes them, unless their S1 is very, very strong, just really pretty much disables them halfway. When the target is silenced after attacking, decreases combat readiness by the target by 25%. So, you know, Broman has, I think, up to a 50% push, but it's random. And he has to proc the S2, which there's a proc rate to be able to proc the S2, and there's a resist check on top of that. There is a resist check here, of course, but if you soul burn only 10 souls, the effect chance is 100%. So in terms of, you can have a 100% chance to silence, minus 15. So ignore the effect resistance check, of course, and you'll be able to push back another 25%. So overall, she is just going to be good on a defensive team. You'll definitely see her. She'll definitely be used. I think she'll be used as one of the core defensive heroes in Arena to slow down your opponents, because again, I mean, there's really nothing wrong with it. You can't stun her to disable her. Maybe you could J Kisei and, you know, reset her skill or whatever for the S3. But the very fact that, again, she does not do any attack on the S3 means that if you're green violet or your Rem, you know, if you're trying to bank on counters, you're trying to bank on evasion, like, tough luck. Like, she's going to potentially land something, right, without getting punished. So just really, really oppressive hero as a 4-star. Again, like I said, I thought like Emma Kawazu was a must-have. Oh boy, like she is a must-have. So I know that there are a lot of people skipping Emma Charles for her, even though there's no guarantee on her. And I remember hearing horror stories when people were trying to pull for Emma Kawazu, and like Ruel was the banner, and people pull like 5 Ruel before they even get her or something like that. Like, that's insane. So hopefully you don't have Specimen Says, and you pull for her. She's a must-have hero in your kit at the moment. She's just looking really, really oppressive. Again, I think multiple artifacts will go for her, but if you don't have Etika Scepter or Atika Scepter at a +30, and you know, you have nothing else, but giving a book on her is just already really incredible. So she's going to be everywhere. Offensively, she's super solid. I can see her used in Guild War offense and Arena offense. Defensively, she's going to be everywhere. RTA drafting, she's going to be everywhere. In my opinion, she's not even that bad to draft, even if her opponent doesn't bring what's it called, an AoE. Just because the S3, the S2 passive being the proc, like, it's just, there's just a lot of stuff going for her. So just to keep in mind that the what was it called, a Guardian Angel only does proc if it's AoE skill though, right? So, and it's once every 3 turns. But regardless, like, even if you don't bring her into AoE counter drafting, she's just gonna be super strong because of the non-hit unbuffable silence, and then CR push herself, CR push back the opponent. Very, very strong hero. I don't even know if I can continue talking about this anymore, so I'm just gonna end this here. Let me know your thoughts. I know a lot of people are just saying like, oh, Cleve is dead. I don't think her addition kills Cleve any more than it already does. I think that a very strong player will be able to counter draft Cleve pretty easily, but she definitely makes the gear requirement or the roster requirement much lower for players who need some way to have a countermeasure against Cleve. I think she's just, again, very, very strong. So first turn debuffers like Basar really don't hold a candlestick to her. I mean, like I think Basar CR pushback of 30%, right? 30%, but if you don't have Abyssal Crown, she'll cleanse the unbuffable and pretty much already get her turn anyway. 24% boosted back up. So, like, she's a counter to a lot of stuff, not just like, you know, damage. She's a counter to debuffers too. So, especially AoE one. Anyways, that's my thoughts on her. Very, very strong, must-have hero, and easy to imprint as well. Much easier to imprint than a 5-star. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm gonna end this for the video recording. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server, follow me on Twitter, subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.